James was a young man with everything going for him. He had a good job, a nice house, and a family that loved him. He was fair-skinned, with a strong, square jaw that made him look confident and handsome. He worked hard every day, hoping to find someone special to share his life with. His mother, a wise and caring woman, always reminded him, "Don't just fall for anyone, James. Look for someone who will love you for who you are, not just for what you have." James, however, had always dreamed of finding a beautiful woman, someone who would make his life feel complete. One evening, while out with his friends, he met Lucy. James was relaxing in a cozy lounge with Jack, enjoying a quiet evening over drinks. The air buzzed with soft jazz music and light chatter when the door swung open. In walked Lucy, her long hair cascading down her back like a waterfall. She wore a sleek, red bodycon dress that hugged her curvy figure perfectly. Her heels clicked confidently as she strode in, her head held high. Every eye in the lounge turned toward her. James froze, captivated by her glowing complexion and the way her brown eyes seemed to light up the room. "Who is she?" he whispered to Jack, unable to look away. "That's Lucy. Mate, don't even try. She's way out of your league," Jack said with a chuckle. But James wasn't deterred. Heart pounding, he approached her. "Good evening. I couldn't help but notice you walked in like the queen of the universe." Lucy turned to him, her lips curling into a sly smile. "Well, maybe I am," she said, her voice smooth and teasing. James laughed nervously. They talked for a while, and by the end of the evening, he had her number, much to Jack's surprise. James couldn't stop thinking about Lucy. He told his mother about her, expecting her to share his excitement. But Mama James frowned. "James, love is not enough. Be careful of women who shine too brightly but show no depth. This one sounds like trouble." "Ah, Mama, you don't even know her. She's amazing," James replied, brushing off the warning. When Jack also expressed concern, saying Lucy was known for her extravagant lifestyle, James shrugged it off. "You don't understand, Jack. She's not like that. She's special." James spared no expense on their first date, taking Lucy to a luxury restaurant downtown. She arrived in a dazzling black gown, her big expressive eyes shimmering in the dim light. Throughout the dinner, Lucy spoke about her love for the finer things in life. James eagerly ordered expensive dishes, smiling as she praised his generosity. "This is just the beginning," he told her proudly. Lucy smiled, already calculating how much more she could gain from him. James quickly became Lucy's provider, showering her with designer handbags, jewelry, and trips to high-end salons. Each time, her response was the same: "You're amazing, James. No one has ever treated me like this." Unbeknownst to him, Lucy would flaunt these gifts to her friends, bragging, "This guy is a jackpot. I've caught a big fish." One evening, James's mother visited unexpectedly and met Lucy for the first time. She greeted Mama James warmly but barely concealed her disinterest in the conversation. After Lucy left, Mama James shook her head. "James, this woman has bewitched you. Can't you see she's only after your money?" James sighed. "Mama, please. You don't understand love. Lucy is everything I've ever wanted." Lucy began dropping hints about wanting more lavish outings and expensive items. "Amelia just bought a new Chanel bag. Can you believe her boyfriend flew her to Dubai to get it?" she said one evening, pouting. James, desperate to keep her happy, began stretching his finances to meet her demands. His friends noticed his growing stress, but he ignored their concerns. Lucy's friends invited her to an exclusive club, and she insisted James fund her night out. "It's just one night, babe," she said, batting her eyelashes. At the club, Lucy flaunted her wealth, ordering expensive bottles of champagne and laughing with her friends. Meanwhile, James stayed home, oblivious to her mockery. "This guy is so gullible," Amelia jokes, and Lucy joins in the laughter. Finally, James decided to propose to Lucy regardless of all the warnings. He had spent weeks planning the perfect proposal. He bought a very expensive diamond ring and rented a private rooftop garden, complete with twinkling fairy lights and a live violinist. The setting was nothing short of magical, and James couldn't wait to see Lucy's reaction. She arrived in a shimmering gold gown, looking radiant. James's heart skipped a beat as he fell to his knees, holding out the dazzling diamond ring. "Lucy, you're my world. Will you make me the happiest man alive and marry me?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Lucy gasped, her eyes wide with surprise, and for a moment, she seemed frozen. Then she smiled and said, "Yes, James. I will." Applause erupted from the small group of family and friends who had gathered to witness the moment. James was overjoyed, imagining the bright future they would share together. Meanwhile, Lucy admired the ring on her finger, already envisioning the lavish wedding she had always dreamed of. The morning after their engagement, Lucy wasted no time outlining her grand vision for the wedding. "James, this has to be the event of the year," she declared, flipping through glossy bridal magazines. "I want a designer gown, a luxury venue, and a guest list of at least 300 people." James hesitated, recalling his modest savings, but Lucy's excitement was infectious. "If it makes you happy, we'll do it," he said with a reassuring smile, though deep down, he felt a pang of anxiety. As the weeks went by, Lucy became consumed by the wedding preparations. She insisted on hiring a renowned wedding planner who charged exorbitant fees. Every detail, from imported flowers to customized gold-embossed invitations, was meticulously chosen. James's friends began to express concern. "James, this wedding is getting out of hand," his closest friend, Jack, warned. "You don't need to impress anyone. Focus on building a solid marriage, not just a glamorous wedding." James brushed off the advice. "This is what love is about, sacrifices," he said, convincing himself that Lucy's happiness was worth the mounting expenses. The wedding day arrived, and it was nothing short of a spectacle. Lucy wore a custom-made gown adorned with Swarovski crystals, and James looked dashing in his tailored tuxedo. The venue was transformed into a fairy tale wonderland, complete with cascading flowers, chandeliers, and a live orchestra. Guests marveled at the grandeur, and Lucy basked in their admiration, glowing with pride. As James stood at the altar, watching Lucy walk down the aisle, he felt a surge of joy. But in the back of his mind, his mother's voice echoed. She had warned him during their last conversation, "James, marriage is more than beauty and grand gestures. Look deeper, my son. Ensure she loves you for who you are, not what you can give." He had dismissed her advice, convinced that Lucy was the one. Yet, as the wedding unfolded, he noticed how Lucy seemed more interested in the admiration of their guests than the vows they were exchanging. For their honeymoon, James spared no expense. He paid for flight and whisked Lucy off to the Maldives. They stayed in at a resort beach. James planned romantic dinners under the stars and thrilling excursions, sipping chilled coconut water and hoping to create lasting memories. Lucy enjoyed the luxury but seemed more preoccupied with capturing the perfect Instagram-worthy moments. "James, take another picture of me here," she would say repeatedly, posing by the infinity pool. James obliged though with a sad expression because he yearned for deeper and more meaningful moments with his new wife. Barely a month after their honeymoon, Lucy announced her plans for a housewarming party. "James, we need to show everyone how well we're doing," she said, insisting on an extravagant event complete with a live band and gourmet catering. James hesitated, aware of his dwindling finances. "Lucy, maybe we should keep it small. We don't need to impress anyone," he suggested. Lucy scoffed. "James, this is our home. Don't you want people to see how successful we are?" Reluctantly, James agreed, footing the bill for yet another lavish event. The party was a success, but James's bank account was now in shambles. His friend Jack once again voiced his concerns again, but James, still blinded by his love for Lucy, refused to listen. James's financial situation became dire. He tried to discuss cutting back on their spending, but Lucy was dismissive. "James, you knew what you signed up for. If you can't keep up, that's on you," she said coldly. Lucy began keeping late nights, often leaving James alone in their once vibrant home. She would come back late, offering vague excuses about being out with friends or attending social events. James's suspicions grew when she became secretive about her phone, which buzzed incessantly with messages. One evening, unable to bear the tension any longer, James confronted her. "Lucy, what's going on? You're always out, and you don't even talk to me anymore," he said, his voice trembling. Lucy laughed mockingly. "James, let's stop pretending. I'm seeing someone else, a politician who can meet my needs. I can't stay here playing wife to a man who's struggling to keep up. James was shattered. The woman he had sacrificed everything for packed her bags and left without a hint of remorse, leaving him alone in their empty, debt-ridden home. Devastated, James replayed every moment of their relationship, realizing how blinded like a foolish lovesick puppet he had been by Lucy's beauty and charm. His mother's and friends' warnings now rang loud and clear in his mind. He had ignored the signs, believing love would conquer all. Determined to rebuild his life, James focused on paying off his debts and rediscovering his self-worth. He learned to value himself and vowed never to let superficial traits cloud his judgment again. And to all single men who intend getting married someday, true love is not defined by beauty or grand gestures. Look beyond a woman's appearance and consider her values, character, and priorities before making a lifelong commitment. A beautiful face may fade, but a beautiful heart will stand the test of time.